When Jason Miller was growing up in Chicago, he often heard people make careless comments about women as they aged, as if life's value and vitality somehow diminished after a certain number of birthdays. Those words never sat right with him, but it wasn't until he moved into his aunt's neighborhood during his late 20s that he began to see how wrong those stereotypes were. His aunt, Rebecca Johnson, was 58 at the time, a retired schoolteacher who had raised two children and was now enjoying her independence. Jason initially thought of Rebecca as just the woman who baked pies for church gatherings and kept a neatly organized bookshelf. But as the weeks went by, his perspective shifted because he started observing her more closely, noticing small details in her behavior, and eventually having long conversations that revealed truths he had never considered before. What Jason discovered wasn't just about Rebecca, it was about older women in general, insights that felt like psychological secrets no one had told him. He began writing them down, journaling after each visit, and what he compiled over time became a series of revelations that truly changed the way he saw women, aging, and life itself. The first thing he noticed was confidence. Rebecca didn't second-guess herself the way younger people often did. Jason remembered one evening when a debate arose in the neighborhood about whether to host a community fair indoors or outdoors. While most people hesitated, worried about pleasing everyone, Rebecca spoke with calm certainty. "Outdoors," she said, "because people need the sun, the fresh air, and the space to move freely. Rain can be managed with tents." The others nodded almost immediately. Jason realized that older women often possess a grounded self-assurance built from decades of lived experience. It wasn't arrogance, it was wisdom. Another time, Jason noticed her ability to let go of grudges. A neighbor, Linda, had once made a harsh comment about Rebecca's retirement plans, implying she left teaching because she couldn't keep up anymore. Jason was offended on her behalf, but Rebecca only smiled and said, "Sometimes people project their own insecurities. It's not about me." Jason saw something profound in that. Older women seemed to develop an emotional resilience, a psychological strength that allowed them to move on instead of clinging to negativity. Jason began visiting Rebecca more frequently, asking her questions about her past, her thoughts on life, and her reflections on relationships. That's when he discovered a third truth. Older women value authenticity above all else. Rebecca admitted that in her 20s and 30s, she had often tried to fit into molds, doing what she thought was expected. But by her 50s, she stopped living for other people's approval. "At some point," she told Jason one evening over tea, "you realize the cost of pretending is too high. You'd rather be disliked for who you are than loved for who you're not." Jason wrote that down immediately, underlining it twice. Another revelation came when Rebecca shared how much more emotionally intelligent she had become over the years. She explained that when she was younger, she used to react quickly, arguments with her husband, frustration with her children, conflicts at school. But age had taught her the value of slowing down. "Feelings are like waves," she said. "If you wait a moment, the storm usually passes, and then you can speak with clarity instead of anger." Jason realized this was another powerful psychological truth about older women, their ability to regulate emotions with grace. One afternoon, Jason accompanied Rebecca to the farmer's market. He noticed how she engaged with every vendor, smiling, asking about their produce, remembering details about their families. Jason marveled at how deeply connected she was to her community. That's when another truth struck him. Older women often have sharper social intelligence. Decades of interactions had taught them how to read people, how to pick up on subtle cues, and how to create warmth in any conversation. As weeks turned into months, Jason kept uncovering more truths. Rebecca admitted that, contrary to stereotypes, she felt more adventurous as she aged. She had recently signed up for a pottery class, joined a hiking group, and was even considering a trip abroad. "When you're young, fear holds you back," she explained. "Fear of failing, fear of what people will say. But when you're older, you realize you don't have forever. You start saying yes to experiences instead of holding back." Jason was amazed at how much zest she carried, and he realized that older women often become more open to growth, not less. One late evening, they were sitting on the porch, the air cool with autumn. Rebecca told Jason something that left him speechless. The truth is, aging gives you perspective. You understand loss, change, joy, and pain in ways younger people can't. That perspective makes you kinder. It makes you see the bigger picture. Jason realized that older women carry not only personal wisdom, but also a broader worldview that can guide others. In another conversation, Rebecca revealed how her relationship with her own body had changed. She confessed she used to be self-conscious in her youth, always comparing herself to others. But now, she felt at peace. My body has carried me through decades, through births, through illnesses, through celebrations. How could I not honor it? Jason was struck by how psychological maturity often brought self-acceptance, a kind of peace younger people struggled to find. Over time, Jason identified even more truths, like how older women tend to prioritize meaningful connections instead of superficial ones, how they become better at setting boundaries, and how they often discover creative talents later in life that they never had the time or courage to explore before. By the end of that year, Jason felt transformed. He had entered with stereotypes in his mind, but had emerged with respect and awe. His journal now overflowed with observations, the 11 psychological facts he had noticed about older women, all woven into the tapestry of Rebecca's life. Rebecca herself never claimed to be extraordinary. She would laugh whenever Jason shared his notes and say, "I'm just living, Jason. That's all." But Jason knew better. He realized that older women carry truths that are both mind-blowing and underappreciated. Their confidence, resilience, authenticity, emotional intelligence, social wisdom, adventurous spirit, perspective, body acceptance, meaningful priorities, boundaries, and creativity made them some of the most remarkable people he had ever known. Years later, when Jason finally published his reflections online, he titled them exactly as they had first appeared in his journal: 11 Psychological Facts About Older Women You Didn't Know, Mind-Blowing Truths Revealed. And people everywhere began to see what he had discovered, that aging doesn't diminish women. It deepens them, making their lives, minds, and spirits even more powerful.